of Trump's self-imposed 9th of July deadline. We will bring those to you. But we move on now, and search and rescue operations continue in central Texas after flash floods killed at least 59 people, including 15 children, and left over 20 girls missing from a summer camp in Kerr County. Most of the missing are from Camp Mystic, an all-girls Christian camp situated on the banks of the Guadalupe River. The region remains devastated, with camps destroyed, power outages and communication lines down. Hundreds are sheltering in place. Federal and state agencies have mobilised aid, while emotional families wait for news of the missing. Rescue teams are using helicopters, drones and boats in difficult terrain strewn with debris. Authorities warn recovery will take time as the community begins to mourn and rebuild. The river rose 26 feet in under an hour, sweeping through cabins and washing away infrastructure. Over 850 people have so far been rescued. President Trump has promised full federal support, while Pope Leo prayed for the victims during Mass at the Vatican. Amid the tragedy, stories of survival continue to emerge as families cling on to hope for their missing loved ones. Well, Raymond, thank you for staying with us. This a tragic situation with the death toll rising in Texas. Devastating. Families still waiting to hear if their children, nieces, nephews, missing people will be returned. What is the current feeling in America after this tragedy, and what's the thoughts on the response and the information that Donald Trump has given about support that will be provided to those affected?
Well, this is every parent's, every grandparent's worst nightmare. To send your child, your young daughter in this case, off to summer camp, which is supposed to be a time of holiday and learning, and then have this tragedy imposed is a complete nightmare. And the sympathies of all who read about this and know about it throughout the United States is one of great sincerity and regret. There is a question here, of course, in regard to climate change. This kind of occurrence is more and more frequent because of climate change in the United States and throughout the world. Texas is a leading producer of gas and oil. The question remains as to whether or not those in Texas and in other places will make the linkage between burning of fossil fuels and this kind of tragedy. And there is a link. President Trump, in his so-called Big Beautiful Bill, has gutted climate change initiatives, taken away incentives for renewables. Will there be a linkage made between voters, particularly in the upcoming midterms, and that approach? Also, there are some reports that in regard to forecasting, there were vacancies in those people who are in the weather service, in part caused by layoffs and cutbacks, which had been ordered by the administration. Will there be a reckoning this time around? Probably not, I hate to say. We've had in Texas great gun tragedies in which scores of children have been killed, and there has not been a linkage made between that and any kind of regulation of firearms. So this is a great tragedy, and I think this morning everybody weeps with those parents, grandparents, and loved ones of those who are lost. But it is not enough for President Trump to say, oh, we're going to give the assistance. He's one of those who said you're going to cut back on the Federal Emergency Management Agency and turn it all back to the states. You can't speak out of both sides of your mouth, or maybe you can. He succeeded thus far in doing that, But whether they'll be able to do it continually is yet to be seen.
Yes, and Raymond, while we continue to show the images of a devastated region within the states of Texas, you mentioned climate change there and impacts that we're seeing across the globe. But of course, Donald Trump, well known for drill baby drill, talking about oil, also not necessarily always putting green first, moving away from Biden era plans on renewable energy and greener movements. Do you think that with a continued worldwide increase, it seems at least, in environmental catastrophes, do you think that there could be a shift or pressure from the people to shift towards a greener future?
Well, there will be a shift. The question is, when will that shift come? You know, the old metaphor about putting a frog in water and turning on the heat, and whether the frog, if it is just an increase that takes place gradually, will stay there until it boils to death. That seems to be what's happening throughout the world. I do believe that at some point people, whether they be in the United States or elsewhere, will wake up to this linkage. But so far, the evidence is not good. And President Trump's initiatives have all been in the wrong direction. In the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, there is a gutting of the incentives given for switching to renewables. He's already withdrawn now for the second time from the Paris Agreement. So things are not moving in the right direction. In this instance, you had 4 months of rain that fell within 4 hours. You had a river which was placid that rose 26 feet within those 4 hours and swept it away. And this is reminiscent of what has happened in Kentucky, what has happened in places throughout the world, in Spain and India. It is not something which is normal, usual, and there is a definite linkage. But thus far, politicians like President Trump have been able to say, oh, it's not caused by burning fossil fuels, and we can go on and do business and as we've usually do it, and it's just those terrible liberals who are trying to create a problem which isn't there. Fortunately, there are people like Prime Minister Modi and others who are saying, look, we got to take a look at this, and we have to be able to move forward to it. He has talked about a convenient truth, that there are ways to do it. But that's not the path that we're on in the United States. And unfortunately, the United States is still an indispensable partner because of the size of its economy and its reach to be able to have some amelioration. But this hasn't happened so far. We just have to pray that it will.
Yes, and of course, our thoughts go out to all of the family and friends of those still missing and those affected by this devastating flash flooding. Raymond, I'd like you to stay with us because we do have